you wrote one kind of a bad article about me, that I'm the Elon Musk man in the European Parliament.
First, we started realizing that you had some sort of online relationship with Elon Musk. And then, of course, from there we saw on Twitter that when you got elected, he congratulated you. And then from then on, he started quoting you on Twitter pretty often.
But to be Elon Musk man in the European Parliament, that like I'm an actor, I'm a puppet, it's not very true, because we never talk with Elon Musk about this. So I never have even a private message. So to be a puppet, you need to have an agreement. Okay, you do this, I do this, you promote me or whatever. So this is kind of happens organically. It's important for me to state that I love Elon Musk. Not everything that he does agree, but overall his contribution about space, about Tesla.
What are some things you don't like about Elon Musk's
Well,
work?
You said also that I'm supporting policies that is music to Putin's ears, which is not very nice to say because I just support peace.
Honestly, I do stand by this paragraph in the sense that music to Putin's ears doesn't mean you intend to be good friends with Putin.
That's why you are very good journalists, but the perspective when someone hears this is that you are Putin's puppet.
It sounds like you didn't really understand what the DSA was, and yet you spoke at the debates.
I'm not sure if you carefully saw my talk, because what I said in my talk is Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, they are saying that we institutionalize censorship and we need to have a more debate about this if what they're saying is true. So let's invite them to tell us their opinion. Do you disagree with this talk? Come on. You don't want more debate in the European Parliament?
We would love
this is democracy. This is democracy.
I support you.
So
yeah.
you are saying, in a way, bullshits now.
Yes, you're getting a bit too...
No, I'm
Eliza.
from Politico.
From Politico.
The newspaper, the media, that they are very influential in this parliament. I think the most influential.
One of the most influential.
We do our best.
You don't think it's the most influential? Because I don't know anything that is quoted by the other members. Oh, these newspapers, they are talking about Politico. So as a newcomer, I think it's the most influential. Maybe you don't want to say it, but is this true that is the most?
It's one of the most influential, but there's others like the Financial Times. It's also very influential.
But is also working here in the parliament a lot, like you guys. Okay, interesting. Yes. Cool.
They don't have They don't have as much stuff.
Okay, grab the mic, baby.
Oh, sorry. They don't have as much stuff as we do, but they're also very influential.
And you guys are journalists that are working for a lot of years in Politico, and you are writing the articles in Politico.
Yes. I do
and you wrote one kind of a bad article about me in a way, but we're going to talk about it. I enjoyed it. My team put it on the wall as our first achievement in the parliament. But yeah. Explain what you were about to say stuff. So I'm just briefing also the people that are watching what they're going to expect from the conversation.
Okay. We're journalists. We haven't been with Politico for such a long time, actually.
You haven't?
We haven't.
With Politico.
But we've been with the journalism more broadly for longer. I think me longer because I'm older, if it shows. I'm sorry.
How old?
29.
Okay, wow, it doesn't show.
Thank you. He does parliament stuff. Like, he's always around here. I'm sure you've bumped into him all the time. I cover technology policy, particularly around like social media and content moderation. I've been writing about technology for like more than 5-6 years now. But I'm just doing this particular social media European policy since December with Politico. So it's still new to me and I'm getting to know.
So it's like a contract towards that Politico works with, you work on this topic, you work on this topic, and you cover a lot of areas with how many people the Politico has working for them?
Well, how it works is that we have a politics team that covers wider politics, general things, but then we also have the policy teams that cover specific areas.
How many people we're talking about?
How many?
I think
the company as a whole.
The company as a whole, what I remember from what they said is like 300.
Yeah, in Europe, because then there's also Politico.
But let's say maybe 100 in the European Parliament. How much?
In doing journalism? I think it would be probably 50, 60.
50, 60 in the European Parliament.
I will need to fact check that. Somewhere there. We can confirm it later. Okay. But in the Parliament, really being in the Parliament full time, that's only me. really focusing only in parliament.
Really?
However, the policy teams, when a file comes to parliament, of course they will cover parliament. So for example, with the DSA, when the parliament was debating it, the tech team did come to parliament and do reporting here. But when it comes to the wider
DSA,
politics,
we're talking about the Digital Service Act,
Yes,
people, which is about how we moderate content on social media
yes.
In Europe.
in Europe.
Yeah, and like my job is slightly different because I follow like how the rules are made and how they're implemented. And some of that, as you know, happens in the parliament, some happens at the council. I also make sure to talk to like the think tanks, the companies, the NGOs, like what do they think about these rules? Like how are they implementing them? So it's more a topic focus, right? Whereas like for Max, it's more like an institution focus, which is the parliament. Yeah. And we were together a lot and it's great.
Okay.
In fact, we were already working together before Politico.
Yes.
In the same brand, and then
wow, so
moved,
cute.
And then she joined. Yes, yes, indeed.
Cool. So I understand you're going to ask me a lot of questions later for you to make the articles about. You're making a profile about me, as I understand. But let's discuss a bit the article that you already wrote in Politico. That I'm the Elon Musk man in the European Parliament. This is what was the title.
Elon Musk's man
in the European Parliament. And then there you said kind of that, explain a bit what was the thinking behind it. And like you said also that I'm supporting policies about that is music to Putin's ears in this, which is not very nice to say because I just support peace in a way. I can understand your argument. Also, Putin wants a settlement, but I think Ukrainian people want a settlement. They don't want to keep dying for them in the battlefield. So I think I'm for both of the sides. And you didn't say also it's for Ukrainian people ears, music in the ears. But anyway, let's talk about this first for like 2-3 minutes. I'm not comforting you or anything, but I'm just out of curiosity, trying to understand what was your thinking kind of with writing. And also we're going to understand how do you write the articles in Politico in this context, which is very interesting for people.
So what is your specific question? Because you went over a lot of different topics. Do you want to start by how we write articles? What was the thinking behind your...
Yeah, you got the questions.
Well, of course, we started realizing that you had some sort of online relationship with Elon Musk. And then we digged into how you actually met him, which was very fun to investigate, to see your YouTube videos and so on. And then, of course, from there, we saw on Twitter that when you got elected, he congratulated you. And then from then on, he started quoting you on Twitter pretty often, and how you would start also quoting him in the European Parliament. So based on that, of course, it seemed like you were Elon Musk's biggest fan in the European Parliament. I mean, you said it yourself when you met him and on videos around the event, right? That you are a big fan of his. And then based on that, we saw, okay, you are also amplifying messages that Elon Musk has on social media. You also agree with a lot of policies that he puts on the table. I remember when I shadowed you, I think we talked about the 80% of EU stuff. And you were saying, yeah, because Elon Musk did it with Twitter. So I think it could work in the EU. So in a way, you're taking recommendations from Elon Musk and bringing them to the parliament.
Continue.
So that's what started the article. Okay.
And, but to be Elon Musk man in the European Parliament, that like I'm an actor, I'm a puppet. This is what, in a way, it's not very true. In a way, no. It's not very true because we never talk with Elon Musk about this. So I never have even a private message. So to be a puppet, you need to have an agreement. Okay, you do this, I do this, you promote me or whatever. So this kind of happens organically in a way because we have similar messages and we promote. Like mostly we agree on freedom of speech, how this works. So there is a lot of the common ground. So we share the same ideas. So I think it was, a bit like it was presented that we are puppets of Elon Musk. Also, in a way, your article hurt us helped us in a lot of ways in the parliament, because a lot of people on the right love Elon Musk, but because we don't have a bias, we like left, we like right, we like we can work with anyone. This is how democracy, we can make collaborate. So today I was trying to go to ask for a vote from a left person, and he said, you are the Elon Musk man in the parliament, and I will not vote for you. So I'm just saying that your articles are having repercussions in my life here in the parliament, and based on my votes, I voted more times for the left than for the right. So it's like the perception of the people. So it's an interesting topic. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying this is the normal, how this affects the other.
Interesting, yes.
Yeah.
And I think there are a few things that are important to note in this. Well, number one, the title Elon Musk's man in the European Parliament.
It's a clickbait, I know. It's to get viewers. But also it's important for me to state that I love Elon Musk. Like, I think he's doing amazing for the world. Not everything that he does agree, but overall his contribution about space, about Tesla, with the ideas to put innovation forward. Like a lot of he's a business icon, like the stuff that he achieved. So I'm an admirer of his work, that he was able to achieve so much in so many
What are some things you don't like about Elon Musk's work?
There is a lot of things that I don't like. A lot of the times I think he's coming off with a bit of hatred in a way. So he does personal attacks with a more like, I love everyone, let's not spread some hate, let's spread love in a way. But I understand the way he's doing it, but his character. Like, I don't like everything that my girlfriend does, but I love her for how she is. So I love her. So the same with Elon Musk. I don't like everything about him, but I love him for who he is. I think this is kind of normal. So I am an independent thinker, and I disagree with some of the stuff that he does, but I agree with a lot of the stuff that he does, and I admire him as human. So this is kind of the perspective that I'm coming from. But to summarize, I think we talked a lot about Elon Musk, but let's go a bit. In this article, you talked about the Putin, music in Putin's ears. So I'll explain a bit the thinking behind this that you explained, because this is kind of the overall view of the parliament, that whoever votes to stop the war is just Putin's puppet. So yeah, explain me.
Behind this.
Get the mic, please.
Sorry, I can read the exact words if you prefer that. So it's the opening of the article, and it says that Elon Musk posted your clip arguing that it's time to stop aiding Ukraine in its resistance against Putin's full-scale invasion. This is the phrase that is often used. And then it says, in one of his hallmark close-ups to the camera, that would have been music to Putin's ears, the impassioned YouTube influencer said it was crazy and inhumane of European politicians to keep supporting Kiev when it would never win on the battlefield. I think, honestly, I do stand by this paragraph, and I understand your position. And
you wrote it or you wrote it?
We both wrote it together, and then there's also editors that are involved in the final wording of the article. I do stand by this in the sense that, I mean, we could go into like some like textual analysis, right? But like music to Putin's ears doesn't mean you intend to be good friends with Putin. Doesn't mean that you support the...
That's why you are very good journalist. But this perspective when someone hears this is that you are Putin's puppet. So this is the journalist the kind of way of doing this.
Yeah, but then this is, and I think this also goes to a conversation around the headline, right? Like, we are very careful with what we write most of the time. Like, we try to be as exact as possible, especially as reporters, because then we have to meet you and face you, right? And like, journalists tend to be quite careful. Now, a lot of these things can later be sort of misconstrued. And like, I often see this with a lot of my stories, like, not a lot actually, but like sometimes it does happen. Like what I write, which I may think was like super balanced, like I agonized over the words. Like, how do I say that Putin will like this, even though Fidias doesn't intend for Putin to like this, right? And I pick this particular phrase. But you didn't
say also the Ukrainian people would like to have a peace and for them to stop dying. So you're just supporting one side of the... I don't know, I'm open.
That's I don't know, maybe that is a fair criticism. I don't know what the
Ukrainian people don't want this war to stop. So this is what I want as well.
I'm sure Ukrainian people want this war to stop, as everyone does. But I think the Ukrainian people rather have weapons to defend themselves than having to give up to Vladimir Putin. And you see it by their war efforts. You see it by their president going around Europe asking for help. It's not like the EU is channeling weapons and forcing Ukraine to fight. Ukraine wants to fight. Ukraine wants to fight Putin, to fight his invasion. And to do that, they need weapons. If you cut down on weapons, yes, maybe you get them on a table to talk. But then chances are higher for Putin to be able to snatch territory from Ukraine, which is something that in general, Ukrainians don't want. So that's why saying this, that sending weapons is crazy and inhumane, is helping Putin's rhetoric. Because it's also the Russian side parroting this of Ukraine will never be able to win. That's what they said since the beginning.
But
and now we've already...
Being pragmatic here, Ukraine is losing every day their territory. So we need to push things now for a deal, because this is against Ukraine. Every day the Ukraine territory is shrinking.
Have you been to Kyiv? Have you talked to Ukrainians?
I think it's like you are a politician and it's within your purview and or you're becoming a politician, which is something we would love to discuss with you. And it's within your purview to discuss but
it's interesting. It's interesting conversation to understand both of the people, because this is a person writing an article that will affect the politician's life, and this is a politician, how they perceive the article and what's their opinion, how they. So this discussion is very beautiful for people to watch. This is the side. So, and I'm doing it, I don't know if you understand, from love. I don't have anything to do. I just say the truth, that what I believe, I'm wrong. And I told you that I didn't like the article, but I'm here again discussing with you and trying to do another article. So this is freedom of speech. I'm just trying to defend my ideas. I think this is what should democracy be.
Yeah,
this is journalism and this is beautiful. So I'm not, this is, that's...
I just want to stop you because I will never publicly say what I think should happen in Ukraine, because I take my position as a journalist very seriously, and it's a very sensitive topic. I'm happy to write about it, report on it, which I haven't. Therefore, I think my opinion would just be an opinion, and I just don't want the conversation to go into putting us in a position where we have to say
you are wrong. I think you are losing the point. So in the way that you write the Politico interview, you are taking a stand. By the way that you present to write it or not, you are taking a stand by the way that or tonality of your voice. So you are taking a stand you are making a way for people to understand. You can with the words that you choose. So you are affecting the policy and the public opinion about me in a way. So you are not just trying to do journalism. This is how I'm talking about the effect, not about. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was just
Look,
but I think we
we can continue to do the other thing, but I'm just here discussing.
The Ukrainian people, I don't know what the Ukrainian people want. I don't know what the Russian people want. I have much more actual information probably about what Putin wants, or at least what he says he wants, right? He's the leader.
You are putting that only in the discussion, so it's biased in a way across something.
But is it biased, or is it a type of humility that I actually cannot claim? I don't want to say Fidia says the war should end, which is music to Ukrainians' ears, because I don't know if it's music to Ukrainians' ears, right? Do I actually?
The way that you say it to Russia is anyways. Let's stop this. I think we exchange enough about this. We disagree on some things, but it's important for the people to know both of the parties how they work, you and me. So let's proceed to the conversation about the actual interview profile. By the way, again, I love you guys. This is coming from an interestingness perspective. I'm not trying to mock you. I'm just trying to say what I believe is truth, and we discuss and I hear your point of the story to understand how you do things, because I'm new here. Maybe I'm missing all of these things. Anyway.
But perhaps since you brought the topic of truth, I wanted to ask, when I shadowed you, there was this conversation about Andrew Tate, in which you were questioning whether he was a sexist or whether him being a sexist was an opinion. Then you asked me what I thought about it. And I said, well, I don't have an opinion. Then you said, fuck, of course you have an opinion. So I gave my opinion, which was, if you quickly check on Google, you'll see that Andrew Tate refers to women as prostitutes, all of them, which is de facto, it means sexism, right? Which is discriminating just by gender. So he's discriminating by saying that all women are prostitutes. Still, you said that Andrew Tate being a sexist is an opinion. But now you were talking about truth. So my question to you is, do you believe everything can be an opinion? Or is there truth out there? You know what I mean? Because the same way you said...
Well, your own truth can be the opposite of my own truth. So, but what I believe in science, I believe that but also in science, how things work. So one scientist, we believe that we were in the center of the world in the past, but Galileo said, no, we're going around the sun. And that was, he went into prison, I think. But this is how the science evolves. So it's like, say, you are challenging the other opinion and the facts. And we're moving forward as society. So I believe in this method, but also I understand that nothing is perfect. So even one opinion about gravity, maybe tomorrow, it seems that it's working. Maybe tomorrow someone will come and explain a bit better than Einstein's theory of relativity, how things work. So I don't know. This is, I believe there is truth. But I believe I'm open to challenging the truth, the science, and the truth being a bit different than we used.
So for you, every fact is challengeable. It's an opinion. Everything can be an opinion. 2 plus 2 is not 4.
This is science, I think. I think maybe you can do an argument that you cannot challenge maths. Maybe I can agree with that. But science and the interpretation and all this stuff, maybe, yeah. So, I think you should be able to challenge everything. This is how science works, to move things forward.
Okay. And you still stand by what you said, that Andrew Tate being a sexist is an opinion. After being to his podcast.
So I went to meet Andrew Tate. I think he's a very interesting character. He's very articulate. He's very interesting the way that he speaks, with how much conviction in this way, alpha male way that he talks, and how he affects the youth in this way. So it was very beautiful for me to meet him. Now he's running for politics in UK, which is not, when I went there, he didn't, but sometimes he called me. Phidias did it in Europe, so I will be able to do it in UK, which is very interesting. How my elections have ripple effect. Also, I see a lot of these things in my country, Cyprus. Now, everyone, YouTuber and all these things, they are saying, I'm running for the government elections now. So, which is a very interesting. Yeah. And why? Why not? This is democracy. Everyone should be able to do this. So, yes, I still stand. I didn't, because the case is still going. He was saying that when I met him, that the case is dismissed and all this stuff, but I didn't know more facts about this. So maybe the definition of a sexist or what, or if he's a killer, or if he's a rapist, and it doesn't change my want that I want to go and explore this person. I'm open to hear his truth. So and even to a person that is a killer, I want to speak with him, understand why you did it, how you're thinking about this, and explore his mind. I think this is very beautiful in a way. And even if I'm criticized, I don't care. I'll keep exploring humanity.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk freedom of expression with DSA.
Yeah, and we really appreciate you still talking to us after this article that you didn't like. So I was listening just now to your podcast with the rapporteur for the DSA, Christelle Schaldemose, a socialist from Denmark. It was a great podcast. And what did you think? Like, after having that conversation with her, what did you learn about this regulation, these rules? Like, and do you have a stance on it? And before you answer that, actually, can you tell me, when did you record this podcast? Was it before or after the debate in the parliament?
It was after the debate in the plenary. It was after the debate that we exchanged our views about the future of social media and democracy and all this stuff. So first of all, I saw in the debate that she said that I was the person responsible for the DSA, for the parliament the last 5 years. So immediately after this, I went to her and I said to her, okay, let's discuss about it. People need to know, what did we agree? How this happens? What was the process? What is the DSA? And she agreed. She was super nice. She's a very sweet lady. And we sat down. It was the same day, afternoon. And we talked about it. It was a 45-minute conversation, 30 minutes, I don't remember. And she explained a bit the process. But she explained how the DSA works and how it's enforced. And she said it's up to the member states to decide. And she said that also Mark Zuckerberg in the past, it was the lines were here and he did more censorship than the license asked him, which was a very interesting thing that she said. And also I started with my team, started researching. Now we are in a way to uncover the truth about DSA. We're asking everyone, we meet with other MEPs and we try to understand the regulation, because if you read the regulation, it's very difficult to understand. It's like very difficult words. I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but it's very complicated how they mention it. So it's up to the member state, they say, to decide what is disinformation, but they give guidelines, and this is a regulation that the member states need to inform us, as I understand. So it's like, still, if the member state wants to define disinformation in a certain way, they can censor stuff. So I think I understood that the topic is not as easy as I thought it would be. Okay, freedom of speech, and that's it. And so I need to understand. That's why I invited also in my speech Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk to come in the parliament to tell us, them, that they know how did we institutionalize censorship. So I'm in the middle now. I'm like, okay, I support freedom of speech on principle, but let's actually discover what happened with DSA and what are the, I'm not delusional, as you understand. I'm trying to see, okay, what are these regulations? Where exactly they censor? What are some examples in Europe now? It's recent act, this DSA. 2023 it was applied. So it needs more time for the member states to apply it.
And
so we need more debate about this. We need to understand, we need more digging, And I don't have a stand yet. I support freedom of speech on principle, but I need to understand how freedom of speech is affected by this regulation.
I'm also doing the digging as well, so we're on the same journey. How do you review your own performance then, like in the debate? Because it sounds like you didn't really understand what the DSA was. And yet you spoke at the debate twice, right? Because there was one, I think, in December, maybe 17th of December, I think. And now, after having had that conversation and going through that process of digging, how would you review your own performance, and why didn't you do the digging before the debate?
Amazing question, but I'm not sure if you carefully saw my talk, because what I said in my talk is Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, they are saying that we institutionalize censorship. So we need to have, if this, what they're saying is true, that they're the owners of this platform and they know some things, then we have a problem and we need to have a more debate about this, if what they're saying is true. So let's invite them to tell us their opinion. Do you disagree with this talk? Come on. You don't want more debate in the European Parliament. How can you disagree with this?
We would love
this is democracy. This is democracy.
I support you.
So you are saying, in a way, bullshits now.
Yes, you're getting a bit too.
This is how I'm in podcast.
However,
if I believe that you are saying something wrong, I will call it out.
I have your comments here. Like, I have it right here.
Did I say anything different than this? So you disagree with this thing?
No, but
so you said that I didn't know anything, and then I learned. So you attacked me. So I said that what you said that I attacked is bullshit, because you didn't actually got the point of my. By the way.
Let's go, no problem. Yeah, don't worry.
Don't get offended.
But I have the comments, because I made sure to actually have all the comments in front of me, because I do not want to misrepresent what you said. But my question is, like, that debate was about the Digital Services Act and I think foreign interference in elections in particular. So it's a debate about like the European regulation. And of course, the comments made by Zuckerberg and Musk, who are the owners of these platforms and have a very good understanding of how they work, are relevant to this debate. But now that I hear you talk about your intervention, and I'm not challenging your intervention per se, it sounds like you went to this debate without really understanding the topic of the debate, which was this particular regulation.
Are you confused again?
No.
Well, I just said now. So you are saying now that my points were relevant on this debate because these are the owners of the platforms that they control our expression. X, Instagram and Facebook, they control how we communicate. So how are they not relevant in the interference of elections and the democracy of Europe? How are they not? Are you confused?
So how do you prepare for these debates? Like, what do you?
No, answer me because you're attacking me and I want logical answer.
No, I'm not confused. I understand what you're saying. Like, in my view, I would have read a little bit more about like the regulation, but I can see also your point that like you're bringing these.
The only thing I'm asking is more debate. So how is wrong this to have more debate about this from people that they own these platforms that is about that actually big responsibility of how democracy is functioning in Europe. So you are saying that I should be more prepared to ask for this. I was prepared enough and I knew what I was asking, that we need more debate on this.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm clear.
Okay, and now that okay, sure, I get you. And now that we've gone, you had the podcast.
By the way, I love you. I don't want.
Yes, you're good. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So now
I just want to make sure that it's not coming from a bad place. This is just because you are saying something, you are challenging. You are saying that I was not prepared, so I'm just challenging that I was prepared with a bit more fun.
Go for it.
This is our YouTuber. In a way. So
okay. So now that you did this podcast that you're like looking into, what do you think about the DSA? I don't want to know what they think. I want to know what you think.
I don't really know actually. We need to do more digging. I need to, and my team already is working. I spoke like I was in a meeting with an MEP from Romania as well about the elections there before, what he thinks and how he thinks. So I'm doing more digging. So I need to understand. So as the stuff that as I dig more, I see more stuff that I don't understand. So I want to understand them. So I need to be, when I'm talking about things, I don't just say that, I don't want to just say, oh, we have censorship in Europe. I want to give example. I want to understand where the censorship comes from, in what country, in what regulation, how it was applied, and give examples. So I want to be pragmatic. That's why I'm just saying, from doing all this stuff, I understood how much I don't know.
One thing I know is that I know nothing.
Yes, but as much as you dig, you understand more. Yeah. And it's like, nobody can know everything. I don't know. That's even people that they did the DSA, maybe they have unknown stuff because the world is shifting. I don't know, community nodes come, and bots are coming, elections, Russia, the world is shifting. So these things are adjusting. Social media is not an alive organism that is shifting based on the public opinion every day. So yeah, and so I need to understand more. So you're right in a way that I need to understand more. I'm not arguing against that. But you said that before doing a speech, I should dig more. That's why I'm careful when I do a speech to be careful. And
another thing you said at the debate was, oh my God, what was it? Oh yeah, and you kept asking this, and I think it's a very good question. And Charles de Mos also told you it's a very good question in the podcast. Is where do you draw the line between disinformation and truth, and who gets to judge, right? And we forget about.
It's better word to say. Where do you draw the line between misinformation and truth? Because disinformation is different, but misinformation is truth.
I'm just quoting you. By
I did wrong. I did a mistake there.
And who gets to judge? So what do you think? Like, where is the line, and who should judge? Like, forget about.
Should there be a line at all?
Should there be a line? And who gets to judge? What do you think? If you were to remake the DSA.
But that's a problem. The question is who should be able to judge in this regulation, because if it's the government that should define and be able to judge, I don't trust the government, because how do we know is they are not just trying to do whatever they want and just decide to cancel the other thing. What about a third party company, like it was in the US with Facebook, and now they stopped doing this? I also don't trust the third party company. Because how do you know they're not getting paid? How they are not motivated? How they have a right-wing ideology or a leftist ideology that they're trying to push? How do you know? So this is the right question. Who is about to judge what is truth or not. And truth, like we said before, is something that is debatable. Like the Wuhan lab theory that where the vaccine came, it seemed like a conspiracy theory in the beginning. But now a lot of scientists support that it came from Wuhan. I don't know exactly, but it seems like one of the mainstream theories now that the COVID came from Wuhan. So if we were able to judge that as misinformation and ban it, then we're banning truth. So that's why I'm saying the person who decides. So that's why, in a way, we should allow information to flow freely. And when we're talking about factually incorrect things, not child abuse, not terrorist, or this stuff, I want this to be censored. I'm talking purely about misinformation and to a certain extent hate speech, because who is to judge that it's a hate speech something? So in a way,
so hate speech should also, you say should be debatable, whether it's hate speech or not. Okay.
Yes, because I can argue that in the plenary sessions, the right and the left, they're doing hate speech to each other. So they should be banned. So people say, shut up, do this in the plenary, like where the democratic house is. And they're hating on each other. So to what extent is hate speech? And if you're saying what words you define hate speech? So it's again, similar debate. But let's talk, because that's a bit harder debate. I think it's easier to talk about the hates, the misinformation. So, okay, who is about to judge? So, I don't know. That's a big problem. But I don't trust the government. I don't trust the third party. So, but a good beginning would be about fact-checking. Fact-checking something that it's a fact that happened in the past that we know. Like you can say that, okay, this person died this time because we have here our bodies. So you can say a clip of this is not Trump said it today. He said it like 20 years ago. And you can community note these things and give more information to the people, not censor, but do also Elon Musk. Also, I got community noted sometimes in the past. And I think this is beautiful because the people are correcting me in a way. It was something that I said as a mistake. I did wrong. So I think this is a good start. Definitely not the solution to the problem, but it's more trust. For me, is better than government deciding, as legislators those deciding, and also third parties deciding. And we need to invest more to solutions to this thing, because I think with AI and a lot of different tools, maybe we can see a better solution.
Do you have more questions on the essay?
I mean, a lot, but go ahead.
Maybe because we have two parts here, right? We want to talk about the essay, but me as a political journalist, I'm more interested in you as an influencer or politician, which one you are. So like we had two parts.
Yeah,
so first, no, but ask some, like, so if you want to ask a last
you
question.
Get the mic if you ask about this.
Of course.
No, I mean, there's really, I think, a lot to say about what you just said, but I still don't, because when you say, so it sounds like you'd rather have this crowdsourced community notes system, right? Like that's
as a beginning.
As a beginning, right? But okay, this is a more incendiary question, and I understand. But if you had to pick between like the government and private companies, which one would you pick doing like the content moderation?
Nobody. No, it's not. Yeah, no, because both of them can affect this in a bad way. Because what if the government wants to pass some stuff? They can, like the Hunter Biden laptops, they censor this information, and this is we have it from Twitter files. So the state interfered to hide some stories. And that the public, if they knew to censor millions of posts, the public, if they knew they were going to vote in a different way. So I think this is interference in elections. Yeah. This is a problem to democracy. If the state is interfering. Also, third-party companies, how do you assure they're noble?
No, but I mean, is it in a way like all these platforms are already moderating content, right, in a sense, because they use the algorithms, right, which like there's varying degrees of transparency that we have into how they work, right? So that Twitter and Meta are, forget about like taking content down and terrorists, they already have some decision-making power into how we view things, right? And I'm just trying to understand, like, if you... Which
nobody really understands how the algorithms work yet. Like, okay, they can say, okay, we want more time for people to spend. So I agree with you. We need to more debate on this, how the information is like, because as humans, we have a problem in a way that we bad things we're more likely to see. So I think that's maybe a problem, because every bad thing is amplified, and then we have humanity seeing only the bad things and negative things. And I think maybe we should have a conversation about this as well. Maybe a slightly more positive algorithms in a way. In a way, I don't know if this is true, but they say China is doing this with TikTok. They are promoting more education. So I think we should see and study this stuff, because we're talking about the public opinion now, and the public opinion, educating the public in one way or another. To put, for example, like this is shocking. I will explain you something that I felt personally. So, like I think 1.5 months ago, I saw a change on my Instagram. Immediately, 2 months ago, maybe immediately from when I was getting like 1,000 followers every day, immediately I started getting 3,000 followers every day, 4,000 followers every day. And then it was the time that Mark Zuckerberg said that, okay, we noticed that our people wanted to see more political content, and we allowed them to see more political content. So Mark Zuckerberg is basically deciding how many followers I will have and how much reach my post will have. Because in the past, he said that the last 5 years, we wanted to show less political content. And I sensed it in my algorithm. Like now I'm getting much more views, much more followers on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist now, but I sensed it myself in social media, which is an interesting thing.
The DSA gives the commission, and a quick last question about the DSA, and then I ask some political questions because I need to go also. The DSA gives the commission power to investigate X and other social media platforms, other online platforms. And they're doing so, right? They ask for more information on how the algorithm works. So are you in favor of the commission having that power? Because you said you don't trust government, right? So
again, you're saying I'm in favor of the commission having the power
to tell X to provide all the information when it comes to algorithms.
Yes, I want more transparency.
Yes.
I want actually that algorithms to be open source. X is doing it to a certain degree, but we need to know how they judge. But we need to know how their algorithms work, and other companies should be able to replicate then these things.
Yes.
To be a bit more free, because when you have billions of dollars of companies, it's harder for new companies to start if they're this closed thing. So I am in favor of more ChatGPTs, of more Facebooks, of more, because that will give the consumers more options to go in a way. So I'm in favor of open sourcing the algorithms, but I'm in favor, of getting more information about how the algorithms work.
Maybe later you can ask more about the DSA.
Yeah, you can.
But I really need to go soon. You started as an influencer. Would you say you're a politician now?
Well, I think it's the same thing actually.
Yeah?
I think it's the same thing. When I came into politics, I didn't know how valuable the experience of being a YouTuber would be. I see it now every day. Like when I write a speech, I know exactly how to structure it for this to get viral. So it's all about people. When I speak in a certain way, I know that I speak in a simple way for everyone to understand, not with these crazy, difficult words that politicians talk usually. So in a way, it helped me a lot. So I think if you are a politician and you want to influence with your ideas, you are an influencer in a way. So I think it goes hand in hand. So I think I'm more of a YouTuber than a politician, but that makes me a better politician in a way.
Yeah. There was this video, I don't have the quote, but I remember perfectly because I was really interested in it. And you said, guys, I have realized that when I do long videos, sit downs to really understand things, you don't watch it. But then when I do short, quick things that I barely can explain things and so that you can understand, basically saying that you cannot give clarity on a lot of issues because you have to do it short, then you watch it a lot. And then you ask, do you think that's a problem? So I want to ask you, do you think that is a problem?
And that was, the title of this video was, my videos have a big problem. So I understand that this is, but for example, Joe Rogan is getting millions of views on podcast, but they're exception. Very few people get millions of views on their podcast, and they do this for years. For Joe Rogan is doing it for 15 years, his podcast. So it's hard to get people on a long form podcast. But for example, the podcast that we did with TSA, it got like 100,000 views, something like this, 70,000 views. And also the short form content, it got like 700,000 views. So in a way, people, this is how they consume information. So I need to adapt in their system. And I think that's sometimes problematic because I need to simplify things and they're missing the context. But it's like a give and take. Do you want 1 million views and for people to get inspired and understand something about the EU, or you don't? That's the question. And I say, even with the strings attached that they might be harmful in some ways to have less context and no understanding, I still choose to do it, to get the million views, even to just give a brief description of what the videos are about. So now, like to summarize, you are doing a profile on me, but you're asking a lot of questions about DSA as well, and you are asking some political questions. So this is just...
I mean, we want to understand how you think on a broad... sense of issues. I mean, of course, you're a YouTuber. You publish a lot on X. You're at the heart of this debate on the DSA. So of course, we wanted to ask you about that, but also about your political life here, which brings me to another question about whether you think that other members of this House, MEPs, might follow you, and whether that's good. Whether that's good for debate inside the House, and whether that's good that perhaps if politicians start focusing on having this short, simplified content, whether that will affect the quality of perhaps. I'm just hypothetically,
well,
if that will affect the quality of the work in the parliament instead of.
Well, I think the politicians of the European Parliament were mostly irrelevant in the past. Mm-hmm. No, this is serious data. If you go in the streets, they will not know members of the European Parliament. They will not know who runs the Commission. They don't know how the European Union functions. And I think this is mostly the majority of the European citizens. So if they don't adjust to this format that I'm bringing in, they are not going to have the citizens' support because the world is changing. So they need to adjust in the new format. So it's like, you're saying, okay, telephone, should they use telephones? Yes, the telephone is a double-edged sword. You can use it to manipulate others, you can use it, but you can use it for good. So they need to use this in a good way. So it's like a knife. You can put butter on a bread and you can stab people. So I think they need to be forced to change. And I think we are seeing some people kind of stealing some methods that I'm using and all this stuff, which I love.
Could you give me an example?
No, I don't. I love everyone. I don't want to...
I'll check TikTok. No, I mean, it's true that members of this House have tripped over themselves to get to know you, right? To be in your content, in your podcast.
To ask me questions, to come on this podcast, which is beautiful. I get a lot of requests about this stuff. So, and also what politics is about give and take. So I have some stuff to give. I don't know, I'm popular. People want to meet me. They want to be on the podcast. They want to decide with me. They want to get me on an event, or they want to make something about with me. So they want a lot of stuff from me. So if I want something in return, I can give and take. So that makes an effective politician in a way.
Last time we talked, you were creating an app, right? If I understood correctly, by talking to your advisors, it's an app so that only EU citizens can vote on what you vote, right?
Yes.
Because at the beginning you started with polls on Twitter, but then why did you decide that only EU citizens could vote? And, may I add, don't you think that's in a way betraying the people that voted you in Cyprus? Because you perhaps should be serving what they want instead of what the whole of the EU population
beautiful
thinks.
Question. So, first of all, what this app aspires to do. So, I think there is not a lot of innovation in politics the last 100 years. So I want to try to do some different things in some new ways. So for example, we have this on coding, open source coding, and other people can suggest how to improve your code and all this stuff. What if we do this with amendments and regulations? Open source it to the people, and we'll have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people that will suggest, change this, it will be better, change this will be better. So we want to do some of these things. And what about voting? Because we don't have a political group and to tell us what to do or what to vote. So we are doing debates internally in the team on what to vote. But I think there is so many of these topics that we need to discuss that sometimes it's overwhelming. So I want to build some solutions for this. So what if we have 3,000, 4,000 100,000 people that we send them the vote and they start 10 arguments on this side, 10 arguments on the other side, what to vote, yes or no, and they negotiate where we should vote, and then I see the arguments, I see the things, I see the conversation, and we decide to vote all together on something. So I think we're trying to do this on this direction. We're launching the app first in my country, Cyprus, so to get there, to see how they react. It will be on the next plenary session, it will be the next vote. I think the next week probably we're going to launch it, but it will be on a story first, some few people, some hundreds of people to test the app, to do some of these things, and slowly to see if there is not bugs and all this stuff to scale. So this is kind of the theory behind it. But also to your question, this, I think some people in Cyprus will feel betrayed that this is ultimately a European Union app, because I want to unify all the people in European Union if it's possible, a lot of people. But I'm here to a member of the European Parliament for Europe, not only for Cyprus, but for all European citizens. And I spend a lot of effort talking about the questions and the problems of every EU citizen. A lot of the people come here and they just represent their countries. I don't like this philosophy. I want to be inclusive. And I think also, ultimately, at the end of the day, also this is the way to be more accurate and successful for your country. Because if you are helping and contributing to the European Parliament, then when it's time to ask for something about your country, because of how much useful you've been, you're going to be able to get in return stuff. So being useful in the European Parliament for all European citizens and for all countries, I think is the way to help your country as well. Last question from me, then you take over, and I might have to go. I'm sorry we can end it if you want.
I think you're probably busy. I'm really enjoying this.
No, please keep going. Last question, then I need to go, but please go ahead with it. You know, you said in a video, which I also was really interested in, and I think you posted it right after or before the one on the short videos and so on. Then you said, no, I'm actually pro-European. Guys, look, I'm pro-European. I love Europe, Cyprus. It's very important that Cyprus is part of the EU. Okay. But then I wanted to ask you why, and I'm not doubting that you're pro-European for what you say, of course I can say it. But then I'm just wondering, why are all your followers, in a way, or if when you look at the comments, they're completely against the EU. They completely despise it. You just need to look at it, right? So why is it that you have this audience, you think? Why do you attract this audience?
Well, it's not the audience. I think is the public opinion in a way. So that's because in the past, I think the institutions were very closed box. So when you don't know how some things operate, you are very distant from it and you cannot understand it and you are not familiar with it. So you tend to criticize a lot more. So I think with my videos, people, at least they got closer and depends on the video. We have a lot of positive comments as well, like about the Erasmus people. They love the video that what Erasmus does. About the united, we are better. The video that I did, that it's better for us to be united in a global world than for each country to be separated to fight for their own stuff. We can get more stuff united. So people agree with this stuff as well, but they need to be presented in a good way. But sometimes, if you count my views, the views that they criticize in Europe videos tend to get more views. And sometimes some shares from Elon Musk as well, that I criticize the EU, which when you love something, you want to criticize it because you want to improve it. So I love the Europe, but people tend to watch more these videos. So, but I think my videos are balanced. So it's not my problem, because if I'm making 3 videos and the 2 videos were about loving the EU and the one is about hating the EU, and that video gets more views. I think this is kind of, I don't know, how society functions.
Do you think it's the algorithm promoting anti-EU videos?
Well, I don't think it's the algorithm, to be honest. I think this is what the perception of the people is, and they tend to like more controversy, in a way that we said controversy sells more tickets than just love. So I think, but I can fight equally. I can do 2 videos about love and 1 hate to balance the public opinion.
I really need to go.
So we can end it here.
That's fine.
We can end it here?
It's 1 hour, so...
Yes. So, first of all, thank you. Thank you for this. It was a beautiful... I really, really enjoyed it. I really
Good.
enjoyed
Well,
it.
happy to do it more often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed.
Cool. Thank you
Great.
guys.
Let's
And thank
go.
you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Bye bye.